live in the Element Well studios today. The day after we learned that the University of Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles will host a super regional at the Pete Taylor Park, and they're going to welcome the Ole Miss Rebels into Hattiesburg. Joining us now to talk about that, Luke Johnson, the host of SuperTalk Eagle Hour. Good to see you, Luke.
Thanks, Gerard. Good to be on today. What a day for the state of Mississippi baseball.
It really is. And I should make a little correction. I forgot that, of course, 2020, the COVID year, the whole dang shebang was canceled. So I think actually we've got 4 consecutive appearances that a Mississippi team will be playing in the College World Series when you count Mississippi State's 2018, 19, and then, of course, 21. And now we got this year. One or the other between Ole Miss and Southern Miss is going to Omaha. What an incredible series it was at Hattiesburg, though, Luke. Did you expect that outcome? And the other thing I should point out is you got a lot of overlap in fans and kids and players. You're so dang close to LSU. I think a lot of folks maybe overlooked that.
When this draw came out Sunday a week ago, I mean, Southern Miss fans were happy. Kennesaw was a pretty stingy 3 seed, and Army had just won their championship. I think some Southern Miss fans knew they would probably get LSU as the 2 seed just because of geography, and LSU was probably like the last host team out. I mean, they were viewed as the 17 seed, almost looking at it that way coming in, and so you knew it was going to be a fight. But you want to talk about, like, from a baseball fan's perspective, there were never any blowouts. The one blowout that happened, LSU put a 10 spot, and got back in and beat Kennesaw. But you want to talk about Southern Miss and LSU had a 3-game series in this regional. And what the Eagles did, winning 3 games in less than 27 hours, getting their hearts ripped out of their chest on Saturday night, blowing it in the ninth. And you feel like you got hosed a couple times on some hit-by-pitch calls. But what they did, resiliency, and then yesterday LSU took an early lead in the first, and then Eagles just fought their way back, and ultimately it was the pitching staff of Southern Miss that allowed them to win this regional. Jay Johnson, LSU coach, said in the postgame presser yesterday that the Golden Eagles were infinitely better than LSU on the mound, and that's what allowed them to be able to survive the onslaught and come out with a regional win.
Wow, that is quite the accolade, and that's what I was going to say, though. The pitchers came to play for the Golden Eagles in this particular series, and that's what you hope happens, is that they're at their best when you got this kind of situation on the line where the stakes are so high, and they did not disappoint for sure. It almost seems like, Luke, that these regional championships, they end up being an endurance test to some extent. You just talked about the 3 wins in 27 hours. That's really what it takes.
That's really what it is. And when you get in the loser's bracket, it's really hard to come out of it. And so the Eagles went into that loser's bracket carrying a 6-2 lead in the ninth. And you know what they did? They had to win in extra innings on Sunday against Kennesaw. They won 4-3, and they come back in the nightcap and just in a crazy atmosphere at Pizza. I mean, you want to talk about back-to-back just insane environments. There was an LSU fan in the Roost yesterday that just said, I've been to a lot of these, and this is probably one of the best regional atmospheres that I've ever been in. I mean, there was time and time again when Southern Miss fans would drown out any LSU attempts, to cheer. There was actually an LSU pitcher who would kind of tap his front foot on the mound before he pitched. And so Southern Miss fans got in his head and started counting the times that he would pat. I mean, it was saying they borrowed a little bit from Texas A&M and started yelling out, ball 6, ball 7. But, I mean, there was close to 26,000 fans in the Pete over this weekend. It was easily in the top 5 attendance of any regional that went out in the country.
Well, it is my understanding that it wasn't too long ago when the Golden Eagles hosted Ole Miss, right, at the Pete, that the record was set. Is that not right? Like 6,800 or something?
May the 11th.
Like
they put 6,200 people, in that stadium off of 4th Street. And I heard little rumors here and there that they were catching people jumping the fences and, sneaking in. And the NCAA kind of caps attendance. You can't really, in some ways, pull off what you pulled off on May the 11th. But, I mean, if you look at those crowds on Saturday and Sunday nights, it'd be hard-pressed to think that there wasn't maybe close to what was in there May 11th against Ole Miss.
Unbelievable. That's incredible. All right, what's your outlook? We got a big super regional coming up this weekend, and who would have ever thought you got two Mississippi teams facing each other in a super regional best of three? What are you looking for?
So I was talking to Scott Berry last night, just congratulating him, and he's a good friend. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm talking to you not as an Eagle Hour co-host. I'm talking to you as a former football player that's your friend and loves Southern Miss. And I just said, when you talk to Coach Bianco this week, the question is, like, how did we get here? Ole Miss is the last team in the field, literally. Southern Miss, even if they were to win their regional, they were going to have to go to Coral Gables. That's the way it usually works. And so not only are you hosting a super for the first time in history, you're hosting a team you've already played twice this year. There's so much, just jawing and the in-state rivalry that goes on. Of course, Southern Miss fans always have it in their crawl that Ole Miss dodges them in football. And so now with Omaha on the line of all teams to host your first super regional, you got Ole Miss. Looking at the matchup, Southern Miss won the first game 10-7. Back earlier in the spring, Ole Miss got them 4-1. Eagles didn't show up at all that night pitching-wise. I think the difference going into this regional is that neither one of these hitting lineups have faced the other's weekend guys. Yeah. And so what that means is Ole Miss will face Ferris Award winner Tanner Hall, Hurston Waldrop, who had an electric outing, struck out 11 on Saturday. Yeah. Jay Johnson said other than a pitcher for Tennessee, Waldrop was the best pitcher that LSU had faced all season. And then Delta State transfer Hunter Riggins threw a complete game in an elimination game on Sunday. And so, on one hand, Ole Miss has got to face a Southern Miss pitching staff that's only second behind Tennessee in every statistical category in the country. And it's the same way. I mean, for the Golden Eagles, they got to face an Ole Miss pitching staff that has really done what they've needed to do over the last month. And Ole Miss, is one of the hottest baseball teams in the country right now. And Tim Elko last year, what he did against Southern Miss in the regional is pretty extraordinary. And so these are teams that know each other well, but they haven't really faced the best that each one of them offers in the previous two matchups. So that's what I'm kind of looking at, going into this weekend.
Luke, reminiscing a bit, I recall vividly watching USM get so close in Florida. Was it one time or maybe two times when Florida was really, really playing good baseball a few years ago? And it just seems like they got so dang close. But things look like they're setting up pretty well for them right now. You're right. Ole Miss is hot. Ole Miss is kind of had a sandwich-type season, right? Really strong at the beginning, really strong now. I think Tennessee, when Tennessee beat them pretty handily, I think that took the wind out of their sails. But I think we're going to see both squads at their best, as you just said, and that should make for a fantastic weekend.
It's going to be an insane atmosphere. I think it's going to even go beyond what we saw this weekend. And, Southern Miss fans, they're real good at boxing out, in the perimeter regarding ticket sales. And so they did a pretty good job this weekend. By the way. Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing from all my
I know where your loyalty lies. So, I had a good friend text me last night. He said, we do ministry together, and he said, "Hey, man, can you get me any tickets?" I was like, "Bro, you're the enemy this week." And he started laughing. I said, "Dude, I ain't laughing at all." So, it's everybody in their camps this weekend, and Southern Miss fans are going to show up. They're just so ecstatic. Because when you're a Southern Miss fan, you always feel like you have to go the extra mile. You got to do things the hard way. And just seeing those guys run out, jump the fence, celebrating with a rowdy roost yesterday, it was for the ages. And now you got a chance to go to Omaha, and you get to play an in-state rival to do it. It is a perfect college baseball, whoever you cheer for. It's a perfect matchup. And I think it's going to be probably one of the most exciting super regionals this weekend.
We got to go, but my final thought is I'm glad for Coach Berry. He's just a quality, class guy. I've had him on the program before, and what a joy he is to be around. I got to imagine he's a fantastic coach to play baseball for, and the proof's in the pudding. And so congratulations
As Will Hall
to him.
says, he is a developer of men. Scott Berry's one of the best.
No doubt about it.
Gerard, just for you, to the top.
Okay, buddy. Appreciate it. Hotty toddy, and we look forward to a great weekend. Luke Johnson, the host of the SuperTalk Eagle Hour, has been our guest on Middays. We'll take a break right here and come right back from the Element Well.